You've seen the title, you know why we're here. What do I think would happen if an alien invasion went down? First of all, we gotta set some ground rules, right? There's two things to address first and foremost. One, I think there are a million routes we could go down of what would these aliens look like. They wouldn't be anything like humans. They'd probably be some sort of like weird space goop that travels through space and like is super intelligent or whatever. I think these are, one, make for kind of bad conversations, so we're not going to take part in them today. Two, as likely as they are, they're just like basically a guessing game, right? I want to think about more human aliens. You know, the kind of in the movie who are the green guys that come out of the ships. They're like, oh, we're here and we're on Earth now, right? These are the guys I want to talk about. And then there's a second thing to address. Two rather, have the aliens seen us yet? Like, right now, in the year 2025, have these aliens reached out? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say these aliens probably haven't seen us yet. I think if an alien invasion does happen, which I think it will, like as long as, this is one of my favorite parts about this conversation, is like, theoretically, right? This is no math being done, just straight theoretically, as in it's a theory I thought of. As long as humans keep going, potentially forever, like let's say we figure out the resource stuff, let's say we can keep this thing going for a while, right? We don't go extinct, we're stable for the next 2,000 years or whatever, right? As long as that keeps going, eventually aliens coming is an inevitability because the universe is infinite, it's impossible, there's not other life out there, and if we keep going, eventually there will be an alien invasion. Someday there will be a generation of humans, hopefully soon, that get to read in the history books like the alien invasion of 2074. And that's gonna be so cool. That's gonna be the coolest thing ever. So, I love sci-fi, right? That's why, if anything, that's why I basically have a PhD to answer this question. I've been reading sci-fi, watching sci-fi, listening to sci-fi, if you could do that. I've done it since I was a kid. It's like my life's passion, right? I one day will be writing a sci-fi series of books, just because I think it's cool, right? I think the genre has great potential to tell us things about ourselves that we don't know, and we'll never know for hundreds of years, right? Favorite thing ever. I don't buy the idea that aliens would come to Earth and kill us, right? I think this is a really bad idea. Like, the idea that aliens are gonna come and they're gonna be like, show me your leader, and then we're gonna bring them to the White House if we see them in America. Let's say they're in America, because I feel like that's where most of the movies take place. We take them to the White House, and then they would be like, Mr. President, this is mine now. Like, that's never how that's gonna happen. I don't think so, right? Because that's what we would do. I think the reason we think that, two reasons. One, it makes for a great movie. I mean, like, that's kind of like the whole reason this probably started, right? Because it makes for the best movies ever. When everybody's got to get together and fight the aliens, that's a beautiful story. It gives us a glimpse of what if humanity had a common enemy to fight against, right? But the idea that aliens would come and be like, we are going to use you for resources is stupid, because like, I think of aliens, let's use humans as the imprint, right? In order for us to figure out light speed travel and all these insane things, we're going to have to progress to a point where we're over all this stuff. Like, we're gonna have to get over imperialism and conquering the third world for resources and doing all these things if we hope to get to light speed travel. That's gonna be a far out thing that is not gonna be able to come until we can do some sort of world peace. The only way we would have the resources to do that is if there was, like, if the UN was like, okay, everybody's resources are on the table for the betterment of technology and humanity, and then they could do it, right? The idea that humans in our current form would ever hit the stars is probably not going to happen, right? I mean, we all have seen this too. I mean, we're apparently supposed to be at Mars by now. That's not happening. Every year since I was born, we're a year away from Mars. We're not going to Mars anytime soon. I just don't think we're there, right? I think it's gonna take so much more than the resources of a company or even a country to do this. I think it's gonna take the resources of all of us, humanity, right? So I think we're gonna have to mature past a point to do that. So logically speaking, the aliens would also, in this reality I'm setting up, have matured past the need for conquering things for resources, right? They figured it out, they got all their stuff under wraps. I think the most likely solution is that aliens would come to be like, hey, we know you're dealing with some stuff right now. Here's what we did. We're friends. We're a helping hand. We're trying to make the universe a better place. I think that Star Trek kind of vision of the future is the more likely one. I do give credence to an alternate idea that the only way that a species is truly able to unite is by being against another species. Like for an example, we never actually do world peace on Earth, but then aliens come and we're like, oh, humans got this. We're gonna do this. I think that's an okay vision, and I actually think it's probably more realistic than just us like SpaceX bringing us to space and then we start doing stuff. Like, I don't think that's happening. I think that's an okay vision. However, I also think that, like, let's say aliens came to Earth and we're like, we're gonna stop. The American military would be like, guys, this is the best PR stunt ever. Like, we are gonna be the ones to stop these guys, 100%, right? We've seen this before, the space race, right? Like, this is, and can you blame them? I mean, under the current order of the world, the way things work, can you blame people for wanting to be the ones to save us from aliens? I think it's an immature way to go, but I also think that it's probably what would happen, right? So, I don't think that, like, I think that if aliens were like the only way that we can get stability on our planet is by going to other planets and just killing them and destroying them for resources, I don't think they would have made it all the way out to here to Earth with that mentality. I think you gotta have a real optimistic growth, work together mentality to really get out and do all this stuff, right? So I think that they would give us a helping hand, right? What would we do though, I think is the other interesting part of this. Because like, let's say, and this is another theory that I've heard, is like, what if the aliens have seen us and they're just like, we're not touching these guys till they get over all this nuke stuff. Like, I think that's, and I'm actually okay with that theory because I think that like, that kind of makes sense of like, maybe if these aliens are able to get over all this stuff, they're also really smart and able to go like, okay, these guys, the way they're talking to each other, there's no way they'd talk to me, the green guy, nice. You know what I mean? Like, they can barely get over the slight shade differences in their own skin tones. Green guy, I'm not gonna do well over here, right? So I think that kind of makes sense. So that I'm fine with, but I also do think more likely that they would come and give us a helping hand. Like, there's almost two scenarios here. When you have like a younger person in your life, maybe they're going through a little teenage angst, right? Do you help them? Do you sit them down and give them the conversation? Or do you be like, they're gonna figure this out on their own, once they get to a more mature place, then we'll talk, right? Everybody's gonna have a different answer to this. I don't know what the aliens' answer to this would be. I find I'm more the person that likes to try and sit down and talk with everyone and like level with them a little bit, you know? Like if there's a younger person in my life who I'm like, I remember being 4 years old. You're going through a lot right now. You just dropped your Lego set. The Legos are everywhere. I've been there too. I remember those days. I feel like I'm kind of, my personality is more, let's sit down, let's rebuild this Lego set together, right? So I want to, being a human, do the most human thing and imprint that onto these aliens. And these aliens would be just like me, and they'd be like, man, we remember when we were a species that was younger and that was, you know, going through all this nuke stuff. Maybe theirs would be called like Booba Borbs or whatever. And they're like, okay, we're gonna go down, we're gonna give them some counsel. You know, I don't think it's all that out there that the aliens try and go down and be like, listen, Earth, people of Earth, let's figure this out. And then the second that everybody's like, we're gonna kill you with nukes if you don't get out of here right now, I think the aliens might be like, hey, look up there, and have like a giant satellite and be like, we're gonna take you out with that thing if you don't listen to us and let us help you, right? Almost like a Teddy Roosevelt kind of speak softly but carry a big stick thing. Terrible guy to go to. I think the aliens would not take much inspo from him, but I don't think it'd be all that out there. They have like measures in place to make sure we're gonna go here and make sure things happen. The other thing though is, would the aliens be open to actually helping when we're so behind? Like, would they be like, listen, we get that we figured everything out, that we are living in this utopian society and that we're all flying around in our flying cars, and we've figured all this stuff out. They haven't figured all this stuff out, but it's also, we're not the guys to make them figure it out. You know, they got to figure out their own stuff. We can't intervene. Like, aliens have a non-interventionist approach to other planets. I think that's also really interesting. I think that maybe the most realistic thing would be for aliens not so much to intervene directly, but to come down, turn into a human, not too dissimilar from myself, I could be an alien for all I know, and learn about the world, and then like go back to their alien boys and be like, listen, this is what's going on over there. And just use that for more knowledge of the universe, and then maybe bookmark it of like, if they ever are like the kind of guys we'd want to chill with, let's do that. So that's, I think, like, aliens, if they were to come here, my main takeaways are they'd probably be more interested in like science and knowledge than anything else. They'd probably be way more into peace than war. And I think they'd really just be like I think they'd be very good people, like good guys. I'm pro-alien. Also, respectfully, guys, I'll be so real with you. This is a big question here, would I, if perfect, beautiful aliens came down and they were like, we figured everything else out on our planet, you can come and you can, you know, betray the humans, just live with us, would I stick around on Earth? I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'm sticking around if the aliens have better stuff for me over there. You know, I might be a human traitor in the situation where we're hostile to aliens who are nothing but chill guys. So that's my other take on that. This is a big discussion though. I am, the thing that can get me talking like nothing else is alien theories. I love a good alien theory. I think they're all interesting because it's just like anything could happen. Like literally anything could happen. I also love the dark forest theory, which wasn't really relevant to this conversation, so I didn't go into it. But the idea that like sending any signal out into space is basically suicide. So that's why we don't hear anything ever. But we've sent signals out into space, so maybe there's something coming. There's like a universal monster entity. But yeah, I love this stuff. I think, you know, one of the reasons I think this is so cool is because imagining a whole different world is such a fun, light experience, but also can tell you a surprising amount about the world you live in if you let it do so, you know? And that's why I think this is such a cool thing to do, because it really just lets you think, and it lets you think in a fun way that also kind of teaches you what you think about the world. So yeah, give me your alien takes in the comments. This is the painting. I think I nailed the pop in this, the way I wanted to do it. I don't know. I need to sleep on this painting, guys. I don't know how I feel about this one yet. Go check it out on the Instagram. Maybe we'll have updated thoughts over there by the time it gets on up. And until next time, guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice. This has been Paint and Talk episode 211. I'm here every morning, painting and talking with you all.